Hello. Welcome everybody on YouTube and welcome on Instagram. Dr. Dion Napier here with Amplify Vocal Studio. I have a lot of new followers on Instagram. I'm so glad to have you guys. And if you're new on YouTube, I'm glad that you're here. Again, I'm Dr. Dion Napier, and I help classically trained singers learn how to sing pop music so you ain't out there sounding like an opera singer, okay? That's my audience. That's who I'm talking to. That is who I am on mission to serve currently, okay? So welcome, y'all. Today, I want to talk about the top 3 mental blocks that singers battle. The top 3 mental blocks that y'all are battling, okay? And I don't care if you're beginner level, because I know some of y'all beginners are still tracking with me too, all the way up to advanced level performers that's gigging and that's professional. There are 3 mental blocks that all of us are battling or have battled at a certain point. Also, you voice teachers, welcome you guys who are live with me on Instagram. I see you. Hello, and thank you for being present. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to talk about how to demolish them. Okay. So we're not singing today, but we're talking about the mindset. So let's get into it. A lot of times these mental blocks are called limiting beliefs or self-limiting beliefs. I know that you guys are probably familiar with that language. And so what are these? These are assumptions or perceptions that you have about yourself or your ability that hold you back from achieving what you're capable of, okay? So when I say limiting belief or mental block, that's what I'm talking about. So in other words, it's a lie that's blocking you from your goals. It's a lie that's keeping you paralyzed and stuck and not able to confidently progress toward all that God has for you. That's what we're talking about today, and we're going to talk about how to pull those down. So the top 3 mental blocks that singers face: fear, self-doubt, and comparison. Those are the top 3, okay? And I'm looking at my notes, so I'm connected with y'all, but I'm looking at my notes. Fear, self-doubt, and comparison. So let's get into fear. A lot of times for singers, and especially classically trained singers, because that's my primary audience that I'm talking to, fear for us manifests in perfectionism, overachieving, unhealthy striving, stage fright, uncontrollable nerves, panic, and procrastination. Okay, so when you feel that, when that stuff rises up, usually that is a manifestation of fear. Okay, and I'm going to get into how to demolish these and pull these down. But a lot of times, y'all, the root cause, you'll hear me use this term, root cause. What is the open door? What is the source of that fear, right? When did it enter in? I'm going to walk y'all through that process. But a lot of times for us, this stuff entered in our childhood, when we were children. Do you know what I'm saying? And then it gets carried over into university where we're training our voice, and it just gets re-triggered and re-triggered and re-triggered. It's this fear, and a lot of times it's fear of rejection for us, okay, as creatives. Got you? Okay, so let's keep going. I see somebody saying procrastination. Yeah, it's a manifestation of fear. So we're going to keep going. Another manifestation of fear that happens a lot with singers, a lot of times, you feeling like you got to be big and showy and loud when you singing to prove that you gifted. Okay, either that's you, if you just have an honest moment, that's you, or you've seen singers do that. They do the most, they riffing and running everywhere, and it's cool that you got the gift. But a lot of times behind that, there is a belief that I got to show them that I got it. Do you know what I'm saying? So they not going to reject me. I'm finna do the most, so you can't reject me. You see what I'm saying? You overdoing it. At the root, that's fear. And you have to have a discerning eye to be able to see that, because one would think like, oh, they're very confident, whatever. That don't always mean that, okay? Another thing that can cause fear, okay? Words spoken by authority figures. So singers, I'm talking about choir teachers, your little middle school and high school choir teachers, your church choir teachers, grandparents, another family member that sings well. So if you come from a family of singers and everybody sing and that's what everybody does, and you feel like you can sing, but you're not really up to the standard of everybody else, that can be a door open for fear, and specifically fear of rejection, okay? So These are ways that fear can enter in and also manifest. The second one is self-doubt. That's the second mental battle that we face, is self-doubt. Okay, what is self-doubt? Self-doubt is basically what y'all call imposter syndrome. That's a manifestation of self-doubt. It refers to an internal experience. Listen to this definition. An internal experience of believing that you are not as competent as others perceive you to be. So you feel like you're a phony, you're a fake, and internally you don't believe or feel like you have what it takes to do the thing that you're doing. Okay, that's a manifestation of self-doubt. Self-doubt can also enter in through others' opinions. So classical singers, especially because we are auditioning a lot, we're standing up in front of adjudicators a lot, we're putting ourselves out there a lot. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of rejection that comes with this journey. Okay, so you have to make sure that you are able to take the constructive criticism, but not let it seep into your soul and you start taking it personally. There has to be a separation, and it's a mindset training and conditioning that helps you to do that. Okay, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Okay, so let's keep going. So the third one is comparison. I see somebody wrote something, so I have to come back to your notes. Come back to your text because I don't want to lose where I'm at. So the third mental block that we face is comparison. So comparison will sound like, I don't sound like the original artist, so I can't sing that. You know what I'm saying? It'll sound like, I don't sound as good as XYZ performer, so I won't even audition for the role. You know? So the root of comparison, and I want you to hear me, at the root, the spirit of comparison, you're unaware of your unique, set apart perspective. You're unaware of what your gift, your vocal ability, you're unaware of what it does in an atmosphere and the purpose that your voice serves. That's why you comparing, because you are blind to the set apart voice and purpose that you have. So it takes you doing this soul work. And I talk about this a lot. If you follow my account, you're going to hear me talk about this soul work. I know I'm probably talking loud because I get stirred up. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not hollering at nobody. I love y'all, but I hate lies. I love truth, and I want y'all to be free, okay? But yeah, you're going to hear me talk about this soul work. Because, you know, creatives, singers, and all of that, we get pumped up and celebrated for our amazing gift. But a lot of time our souls are wounded, unhealed, and we have no clue who we are at the core. And a part of my mission in this industry is to help you reconnect with your core self, to know who you are unapologetically, and to walk in that with full boldness and confidence and not fear anything, not fear somebody rejecting you or not receiving you. You know what I'm saying? To know how to process that mentally, where it doesn't shove you back in a corner and you shut down. That's a part of my mission out here, okay? So anyway, let's keep going. That's the root of comparison. So this is what you have to know and buy into, and you have to spend time cultivating and thinking and writing. This is reflective, introspective work that takes time. You've got to come to the point where you realize that your voice is a culmination of your upbringing, your experiences, your influences, your unique perspectives and interpretations, your God-given gifts and strengths, right? It's a unique sound that goes with a unique identity. So once you buy into that, comparison has no place in your soul. Because why? You are the only you of all time. Nobody else on this planet has your exact experiences, upbringing, influence. Do you know what I'm saying? God-given gift, right? The mission and the assignment, that is unique to you. So once you take the time to become aware of that, you're not fooling with comparison. That's low-level stuff, okay? I want y'all to be free. I love y'all. I want y'all to be free. Here, Labria said, okay, all right, good. Hey, Labria, I've actually been thinking about you. It's good to see you on here. Somebody had a question. Let me go back while I take a break. Let's see. Somebody said, hey, your point of view are so on point. Love listening. By the way, I have a problem singing high that I can hear pretty okay, but I'm always afraid of my production. How much time do you think I have to work on that. I don't understand fully what you're saying, but I think you're saying like you're afraid of singing high notes. So here's the thing. So I deal with this stuff spiritually as well as practically. I'm glad you asked this question because I meant to say this and I forgot. So thank you. I deal with this stuff spiritually as well as naturally. I'm telling y'all how to uproot the stuff spiritually at the core. But then on the practical end, there are things that you can do to help you deal with fear of hitting high notes and all that kind of stuff. You got to train. You got to get the skills. Do you know what I'm saying? You have to invest in coaching. You have to partner and get in a community that will help your beliefs to switch over. So it's not so much back and forth in your own mind. Do you know, I'm going to talk here in a minute about belief borrowing. Okay, that's about being in a community with other people that are journeying the way that you want to journey. And for a minute, you're able to borrow their belief until you buy in on your own. These are practical strategies that help you break through this stuff. Okay, so what I teach my singers, what I have taught them is a process called assimilation training to deal with fear. Because you're going to feel the fear. You're going to feel the nerves. I'm not saying it's going to go away, but what I'm saying is you need to have tools and strategies to know how to not make it stop you and paralyze you and keep you stuck and non-progressive. So what I teach my singers is a simulation training. So what you do, if you got a production coming up and you scared to sing the high notes and all of that, put yourself in an environment somewhere different. Go to a different practice facility. Go somewhere different and create an environment where you may feel your palms sweating. You may feel your heart start beating fast. You feeling all of that nervous kind of energy, what you would feel like when you audition. And you practice singing and executing even though you're feeling the nerves. Do you see what I'm saying? You train yourself to sing through it. Even if you feel it, it doesn't stop you. And if you practice like that, once you get up in the real thing, you know how to do it because you've trained. You've done that assimilation training. This is what high-level top performers do. This is what Olympic athletes do. They train like that. So that's what you need to do too as a vocal athlete. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. So here's some examples because I've dealt with all of these too. I'm not coming telling y'all what I read and researched. Okay, I'm telling y'all what I live. Fear, self-doubt, comparison. So an example from my life. Okay, so I used to hear in the back of my head, you're a classically trained singer. So it made me feel like an imposter whenever I stepped up in my black church to try to sing some gospel music or to sing a style that was not classical or that was not classically influenced. That's what I heard in the back of my mind. I would hear your sound and your style will not be received or liked in non-classical spaces. Okay, so what was that? It was fear of rejection that was manifesting in my soul. So it made me step back. It pushed me in a corner. I didn't participate in singing in my church. I danced instead. And what I did was told a lie, like, I sing all the time at school. I'm studying as a voice major. When I come to church, I want to do something different. That was partially true, but a lot of that was a lie. It was a lie. I was afraid to get up there and sing that hard gospel because I was so far removed from that sound. I grew up hearing that sound. I grew up singing that stuff as a kid before the formal training. But once I got trained in that Western classical, I couldn't access that sound anymore. And so I was afraid of being rejected, getting up in that environment with the voice that I had. Do you know what I'm saying? So that is how this stuff manifest. That was the hidden rule that kept me from exploring my fuller potential. It kept me stuck and limited. And here's the thing. It kept me limited to a specific audience, which was classical singers, opera singers. And it kept my influence limited. That's why I had to deal with it. Because I know that there is global influence on my life. And so if I am just restricted to classical music and the classical sphere, yes, there are people that love classical music and sing that and all of that. But I know that personally, my call is wider than that. That's too narrow. But if I can't sing or speak the language of the people that I'm called to serve in the contemporary sphere, then what? I'm not going to have no influence. This is why I had to deal with that fear of rejection. And this is why I connected with a coach. I did the practical stuff. Like I just told you, I connected with a coach that could train me and help me break through the mental limitations, that could speak some new words so I can buy in and create new beliefs, right? That's the practical stuff that I did. Okay, so here are the 5 steps and then I'm out because I don't like to keep y'all longer than 15 minutes and I'm already there. So welcome from Ghana. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so 5 steps, y'all, to demolishing your self-limiting beliefs or your mental blocks. I'm about to show y'all how to tear this stuff down. This is what I have done. This is what I live as a lifestyle, not just in music. I live this in my marriage. I live this, of course, yes, in my music. I live this as a businesswoman. I live this in parenting. You know what I'm saying? Everything that pertains to my life, I will walk through this 5-step process and pull these old thoughts, these imaginations, these blocks, these limiting beliefs. I pull them down. And I'm empowering you and equipping you today to do the same. This is where you start. Number 1, you got to identify the source of the belief. So you have to ask yourself, where did that belief come from? Whatever your mental block is, whatever the fear, whatever the sentences and the words that are streaming through your head, you can't, you won't be accepted, you don't sound good, whatever. You have to ask yourself, who told me that? And that's what I did. And the answer to my question, who told me that about my classical voice, it was my voice teacher from academia. She told me if I was serious about singing classical music, I would come up out of the gospel choir. And I did that because as a freshman in college, I didn't know any different. That's what she told me. So that right there opened up a door for fear, because then as you go through a university system, y'all who've gone through that system, y'all also know there is this spoken and unspoken rule that if you sing commercial music, you will damage your instrument, that you will injure your voice. Who wants their voice injured? Nobody, right? So that opened that door of fear. If I try to go back and sing grew up here, I may damage my instrument. I'm not trying to lose my scholarships. I'm going after trying to be an opera singer. You see what I'm saying? It opened the door to fear. So I had to go back and remember who told me that, right? The second step is determine if it's true now. Okay, because the thing is, what my teacher told me about coming out of the gospel choir, that might have been a good choice for right then, because I was just trying to establish vocal technique. And it's better, I think, too, to just stay in one lane as you are establishing technique. Okay, but then all the other stuff about tearing your voice up and all that other stuff, like, no, that stuff is not true. And once I developed my technique, I was able to go back and sing commercial music once I got training and flip off and see there's nothing wrong with my voice. Actually, cross-training is strengthening my classical sound. Do you know what I'm saying? So anyway, you got to ask yourself, is it true now? Is it still true? Was it ever true? And usually the answer is no, because here's the thing. Facts can change. Truth never changes. The fact is, I am a classically trained singer. The truth is, my voice can sing in multiple genres, and so can yours, okay? Same thing for you. The third step, you have to break agreement with the belief and renounce the lie. The third step, you have to break agreement with the belief and renounce the lie. When I say renounce, I mean speak out of your mouth. I no longer believe that, ... I no longer accept the lie that I am only a classical singer and my voice will not fit or be accepted in other spaces. This is what I'm talking about. This is not mental, just doing it in your head, honey. You got to speak these words out to start breaking down these blocks, okay? Y'all getting Preacher Dion today, okay? I'm a voice coach and all that, but I trained in ministry, and when I started teaching on this stuff, because this stuff is spiritual, I get real fired up about it. So y'all getting a little bit of the preacher today. Okay. So you have to break agreement, renounce the lie, and you have to have another thought, okay? So here's what you got to know as you do this process. It will be hard for you to buy in at first, usually because you believe this lie for so long, okay? Changing our mind, belief switching is a process. Don't think it's just an overnight thing. You're going to go and start speaking these words out, but you're still going to have that thought in there. You're going to be speaking the words out, and then when you go to the practice room and sing, it's still not going to feel all that together yet. You have to expect that. That's a part of it. The thing is, keep doing it. Keep going. Keep speaking. Okay? Also, too, another strategy I told y'all, belief borrowing. Okay, so this is a thing like find somebody that is doing the thing that you want to do. Right? Find somebody that's that sings in multiple genres. See if you can find out about their story. Do you know what I'm saying? Research, how did they get to the place where they're so versatile? Did they come from a classical background? How did they start crossing over? When you can see other people's journey and see their story, it will give you hope. So that's just a practical strategy, okay? For me, I didn't exactly do that, not for singing. I've done that for business, but I connected with the commercial coach, and every time she hosted a live webinar, every time she hosted a group training, every single time, I made sure my face was in the place. I made sure I was there. I don't care if I had the cash flow at the time or not. I put the thing on a credit card. I trusted God and I got in there. A lot of y'all are blocked because you won't invest financially. And instead of thinking, and yes, I'm going there, I'm going to hit this objection, especially with you classical singers and with you artists and creatives, because another thing that sits on our head is this starving artist mentality that is from the pit of hell. You were not designed to struggle and do all of that, okay? So again, I don't care if I had the cash flow or not. I found a way. Instead of saying, I can't afford it, oh, I don't have the money, I said, how can I afford it? What can I create? What can I sell? What subscription can I pause and cut off for a minute so I can get in here and get this information that I need, because I know that this information is connected to my influence to touch singers. Y'all, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have been able to be on here talking to y'all. I wouldn't have had the language. I wouldn't have known the technique. I wouldn't have known how to do it. If I had just stayed in that classical lane and not invested and had a mindset really to step out on faith and say, God, I don't know, I'm going to put this on the credit card and I believe by the time it's done, the money going to be here. And every single time it was there. So this stuff takes faith, okay? I'm going to keep going. But you got to get in a community with people that are doing the thing that you want to do, or you got to research their story online, and that will help you to establish your new belief, okay? And so a renunciation example. So it would sound like this. Today, I renounce the lie that my classically trained voice will not be accepted and appreciated in contemporary music genres. I accept the truth that my voice is versatile and capable of singing anything in its genuine style. That's how that sounds. Do you see what I'm saying? And so you speak that until you start to believe it. All right. And the fourth and final step is that you rehearse this truth daily and you start to rewire your thinking. This is the part that I told you is going to take time, but if you keep doing it, you will develop a new belief and you will stop dealing with these mental blocks, okay? So what that looks like, write out declarations and speak them out loud every day, okay? Why are you doing this? Because as you think, you are. When you change the way you think, you transform yourself. When you change the way you think, you transform yourself, okay? And the more you speak these words out, you'll start to believe it, and then you'll start to come into a process of becoming somebody new. You'll be different. And the fear, the self-doubt, and the comparison won't have this chokehold on you anymore. You will be free. It is possible, okay? So that's what I wanted to share with y'all today. I have some declarations, but I feel like y'all get the point. I'm a few minutes over, and I'm going to go ahead and stop. Any questions, anything? I know I kind of been flowing, but y'all sticking with me. I'm glad y'all are here. What questions do you have? Was everything clear? Anything? I'm going to go back and see if I can catch some of these comments. Y'all can drop some new questions in here too if you have them. Somebody said, thank you so much. I used your warm-ups on Saturday, hit all the high notes. Okay, great. I'm glad they worked for you. Thank you for this. You're welcome. I'm glad you're here with me live. Okay, somebody's from Ghana, I think. Okay. Any questions, guys? Anything? I got a few people still on with me. Questions, comments? Replay watchers, thank you guys. I always appreciate my replay watchers, and y'all feel free to drop things in the chat as well. Any questions that come up, anything. I hope this was helpful to you. I hope this was helpful. I don't see any questions, so I'm not just going to stay and linger. But so y'all drop them in the chat on the replay if you want to. Labria said thank you, and I will see you soon. Still using okay, great. All right, sounds good. Y'all have a good day. Chat soon. Bye-bye.